to operate in the Santa Crita. Okay? So those are all technical skills. But we also need to concentrate on non-technical skills. Okay? And I'll ask you what they are later on. So here, with British Airways, we train doctors on flight simulators, not to fly. Okay? But here, we take away all the medical knowledge, we remove all the medical knowledge and skills, and just focus on communication, hierarchy, situational awareness, etc. And focus and try to eliminate factors that make you make a mistake. So here, this is what a flight simulator looks like. You go to Heathrow, and in the department there, you've got a building that inside looks like a cockpit of an aeroplane. Okay, it's almost like computer games. And there, you and your co-pilot, both doctors, communicate with each other, and your mentor, who's a pilot, will change the weather, how fast or how slow you fly, okay? And then you communicate with your co-pilot what to do. So it involves the use of checklists, the use of S-bar, etc. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on. Okay? Now what's changed really is the General Medical Council in the United Kingdom, that's our regulators, doctors, now makes it mandatory that we have human factors training, because they recognize that the majority of errors occur not because you cannot operate, not because you haven't got enough staff, but because of human factors. Okay, that's why we need some training and some appreciation of it. So what are human factors? Well, these are some examples. We call them non-technical skills. And it happens to us all the time. You use it every day, you're just not aware of it. So for example, situational awareness or target fixation. Decision making. We all make decisions, but we all make decisions in different ways. In postpartum hemorrhage, the loss of time perception is very important. Okay. There's leadership and teamwork, communication and ergonomics. Okay. So, when you look at all reports on why mothers die, this is a very common theme. Too little, too late. So 90% will occur as emergencies, and quite often there's a lack of leadership, even though there's a leader. There's poor staff skill mix, and you don't communicate well in escalation, meaning you can see it, but you don't tell the next level up. Do you recognize this slide? Are you aware of it? Right? Yeah? This is called the Swiss cheese. Yeah? So all errors, all reasons why things go wrong is usually based on this. Based on a slide by a professor of psychology called James Reason. So every single time you meet a patient, potentially there is a hole, there's an error. Okay? But it's stopped because somebody else picks it up. And so forth. I'll give you an example. A medical student misses a breech presentation. Okay? There's a hole. Hopefully, the midwife will pick it up. It's blocked. If the midwife misses it, hopefully the resident picks it up. If the resident misses it, hopefully the attending will pick it up. But one day, because of a combination of factors, everybody misses it. Okay? And you have a maternal death or a massive obstetric hemorrhage. And it's quite common in aviation accidents. Now this is not the answer to all our questions. Okay? We always say that medicine can learn from aeroplanes and aviations. We can learn, but you cannot directly transpose because they're different. Flying an aeroplane is simple. Yeah? Medicine, particularly MOH, is very, very complex. But it's quite similar. So there's also, when aeroplanes crash, there is also a loss of awareness, there's also poor communication, there is also lack of escalation. So we'll just concentrate a little bit on this, on cognitive skills, leadership, and then things like distraction. What's the word for distraction in Greek? Is there such a term? Distraction. Okay. So here's a typical template or structure we use for training human factors in certain scenarios. Okay, so we would act out in a simulated area. Okay, for example, postpartum hemorrhage or theatre interaction, and people watch it behind a lecture theatre. Okay, and then you comment on it and look at all the different aspects. So I'm going to play you a video. Some of you might have seen it. The point here is to focus. Okay? There are two teams playing basketball, and I want you to focus on one of the teams. One team is wearing white t-shirts, and one team is wearing black t-shirts. Now what I want you to do is count the number of times the team in white t-shirt passes the ball. Okay? Start again. Now count the number of times the teams in white t-shirt pass the ball. Have you all got that? How many? 16. Very good. How many of you saw the gorilla? You have seen the gorilla? Okay. Yes. So that's why a lot of it depends on the IT thing. But many people will not see the gorilla. Okay? Did you see it? Yes.
How many balls were there?
Sorry?
How many balls were there?
I don't know. The point. So here if I show it again, now what I want you to do is not target fixate. What you've done is target fixation. What I want you to do is become situationally aware. Get the helicopter view. Okay, so take a step back. So that's an example of target fixation and a mistake that we often make. It happens. Okay? If Professor B. Lynch or Professor Bakri is operating near the ureters, okay, he will be target fixated. It's normal. And if a monkey walks in, he won't know. Okay? So if you have BPH, you'll be focused on stopping the bleeding. Okay? How are you going to be situationally aware? So you can't. So what I do, and I'm sure what they do as well, they will tell the assistant, you keep an eye on the blood loss. Okay? How long did the video take? 15 seconds. Okay? So the point really is the time perception also goes. Yeah, when you're focused. So in the actual cockpit, when we fly these simulations, quite often they ask you, how long do you think that took? Usually, you underestimate it. Okay? And it's actually much, much longer. Okay? So this is a slide of the golden hour. I borrowed this from Professor Arul. And essentially, if you lose the golden hour during PPH, the patient will become very moribund and much more likely to die. Okay? So that's why time is very crucial. So the next few slides is about decision making. Now, if I ask you quickly to read it, you will say the cat. Okay? That's because we do, as older people, we do pattern recognition. We do simple decision, so it looks like a cat. But really, if you ask a 5-year-old to read it, they will say THE, CHT. Okay? And that's because when you are very junior, you make your decisions analytically. It takes longer, but you break it down. Okay. So one of the problems we have is basically not being able to make decisions. Yeah? We think again and again. Some people are very quick, but some people can't make decisions because they have a condition called analysis paralysis. Yeah? In the airplane cockpit, it happens. You can see that they want to make a decision, but they're scared and they're not sure what to do. Okay? So the best advice really is, this comes from Dwight Eisenhower, one of the presidents and one of the famous generals of the Second World War. He said the best thing is to make the right decision. The next best thing is to make the wrong decision. Okay? The worst thing is not to make any decisions. So in MOH management, you have to make a decision. Yeah? Preferably the correct decision, but even if it's wrong, you mustn't delay. So later on, again, this is about decision making and estimation. Later on, you'll meet Mr. Kuroshi's patient, and it's on estimation of blood loss. Do you think our estimation of blood loss is good or bad? Bad. Yes. Okay. And we know that in many of the maternal mortality reports, you tend to underestimate the blood loss. Okay? So we will correctly estimate it in a different way, as Mr. Kuroshi will tell you later. Why is it difficult to estimate blood loss? Because of this. Do you recognize this? What is it? Oh, airport. Very good. Okay? Now, if you go, when we came to the airport, or when you go to the airport, you'll see the people who screen it. Okay? We do the screening. How often do they change? Every 20 minutes. The reason for that is because if you keep staring at the same thing, you can't distinguish. That's called change blindness. In the same way, if you've got blood, if you keep seeing small trickles, particularly small amounts, yeah, it's very difficult to add up. So you miss it. You have a condition called change blindness. So we now come to leadership, and our concept of leadership certainly in the UK has changed. Yeah, in the 1980s and 90s, you have the big surgeon, the Alexander, the Pericles, okay, the famous hero. Now we say the leadership changes. We now have followers. Okay, you have a team. So when we teach leadership, we teach the leader, the follower can change, and the team. Okay? Are you familiar with communicating S-bar? Yeah. Do you use it? Sometimes. Sometimes. So, no. So sometimes I will get a doctor calling me, "Doctor, can you come and see the woman in room 5? Okay? The woman is having hemorrhage. Can you come to room 5? So that's not enough because we don't know. So we train our doctors to use this tool. So I stands for identification. That's me. Okay? Hello, I'm so and so. Situation, you describe situation, you do the background, you tell them what you found, and then you say recommendation, I think we should do ABC. Okay, that's structure. And then the R at the end stands for read back. Okay? Read back means you close the loop. So I tell you this, and then you tell me back. Let me confirm with you. Yeah, it's A, B, C, D, E. Okay. So emergency, effective communication, you need to declare an emergency. You need to direct it. Don't say somebody go and get the blood. You need to say you go and get the blood. All right? And then in order to avoid distractions, you delegate specific tasks to certain individuals. And what we try to do is also avoid mitigated speech. This is one of the things we are very frightened of. Okay, I'll explain. We try to do direct speech, but many cultures, particularly in Asia, have mitigated speech. That means they don't tell you directly. They hint and hope. Okay? So if I go home to Malaysia, I say to my friend, it's been a while since I've had a drink. And what I mean is I'm thirsty. Okay? So my friend will say, let's go out for a drink. And I'll say, please don't bother. What I mean is, I will say yes if you ask me again. Okay? So we try to tell our residents not to use this. Yeah? Now in England, everybody speaks English. But the understanding is very different. So my wife is Dutch, and when we first met, she would say to me, can you go and let's do blah, 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 and I'll say, let me think about this. Okay? To the Dutch and to the German, it means I will go and think about this, and I will come and tell you my decision. Okay? But in England, what it means is no. Okay? So on labor ward, and we have to be direct. Okay? Avoid mitigation. This is just the same. In the West, we focus on the Western style of communication. That means if I tell you something, it's my responsibility to make sure you understand. Okay? If I go home to Malaysia, my mother will say something to me, and then she uses the Eastern style. That means the responsibility is for me to read her mind. Okay? So, yeah? So we're coming to the end now. So one of the things we try to do for communication really is briefing. Okay, we all like big surgery, we all like to operate, etc. But the important thing really is briefing. So this is a placenta preta case, and for 10-15 minutes beforehand, we make sure everybody understands. We do a checklist. Yeah, we make sure all the team is there. We make sure all of them know the roles. Yeah, so because I'll show you later. Errors can happen, disasters can happen. Okay, we'll skip this. Fine. I show a video again? Oh, this one works. This one works. Okay. So I just show you a short video, and before you go to lunch, I want you to tell me who you think is leading the operation. Okay? There's someone in green gloves, someone in white gloves. We're doing a placenta creta, a midline incision, and I just want you to tell me who you think is leading the operation. There were two attending physicians, two consultants there. Okay, both experienced people. Who was actually leading the operation? Green gloves. Okay, why do you say that?
Because he took on responsibility and he was helping the other one to do
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, you saying something?
I think it was the one with suction because he pointed where to come and he had one.
Okay.
Seems like he gave directions.
Okay, that's actually very interesting. So as I said, there were two consultants. The one in green was myself. I was older. So automatically they seem to say you lead. Okay, so I was actually assisting. Okay, so that was the nice bit. Afterwards, I didn't want to show you because afterwards everything went wrong. We left the center in, and suddenly. And we were closing up, and suddenly everything started bleeding. She lost 13 liters, and we had to do a hysterectomy. Okay. So now, interesting thing really was the person who was leading was the cameraman. Okay, the cameraman was Mr. Lodi. So what we thought really was this is an interesting case to video. Yeah, and so he videoed it. And initially, one person led because he was the most experienced. But when things go wrong, we have only certain working RAM, okay?